Hello and welcome. Today I'm sharing this card, which is for the Global Design Project. This week we're casing one of Angela Meiritz-Reid's beautiful cards, and this is what I came up with. All the products I've used are available at my online store and are listed in the description box below. I've also created a PDF tutorial which has all the measurements for all the products, and a link is also in the description box. To start with, I've just got a basic white card base, and I've used the thick cardstock. Just gives you a nice sturdy base. And then I've got a piece of basic white card, and then I've got my next layer is also white, and I've embossed it with a quatrefoil tile. I've just gone ahead and embossed that already, and so it's just a couple of millimeters smaller. Just gives a little bit of a border when you do that. So I'll just adhere that onto there. And then you can either pop that onto there with dimensionals, or I've used this packing piece. It's just 3 pieces of old cardstock. It's actually out of the DSP packs, so I just cut it up and adhere it together. Just gives a nice flat surface, so it looks, you don't get any lumps and bumps or sagging. So I'll just pop that onto there. Make sure it's nice and even. And then the next thing I'm going to do is stamp and colour the image. So this is from the Beautifully Happy stamp set, which is a free Sale-A-Bration set coming out in January. So I've popped it onto my block, and I'm using my Mento. I just want to stamp that up. Nice coverage on that. And then I don't know if that is quite, just might do a wee bit more in the middle, get a nice sharp image. Stamp that onto there. Just pop that lid on before I have any mistakes with that. I don't want that to happen. Give that a good press, take that off. And then I've got all the colours, which again they're all listed below, and I've started off with the Granny Apple Green, and this is the light one. So I'm just going to colour these wee seed pods, or it might open up into flowers, so I'm just colouring those totally with the light. And I'm using the bullet end, which I like for smaller areas because you have more control. Just get those all coloured. And then there are these little tiny little leaves here, just colour those up. And then I'm just going to get, see, the lid now. You need to pop the lid straight on so that it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to use the dark end and just add a bit of darkness just on those I don't know what you call them, just the lines that they've done, the artist has done to create the seed pod look. And then in the middle of the leaf, and then maybe just here where I think it would be darker. And that's all I'm going to do with those, because they're quite small. I don't think they need too much attention. And then I'm going to do the same just on, see, wrong end, on here. Just colour these ends in here and on here. You can get caught up, with trying to work out what colours flowers should be and things, but I think with this, it doesn't really matter. You can just pop any colour in you like. This makes it a bit more fun. You don't have to play by any rules. And then with these bigger leaves, I'm going to do again the same thing and colour in the whole image. Could use the other end, just wider for colouring that in. It's just as easy while I'm here. And then what I'm going to do is bring the darker colour in. I just want to put some shading along the edge here where I think it's going to be darker, and then run my colour along the vein of the leaf along here, and then just take it up a wee bit, just fill it in a wee bit just to add a bit more, and then just to sort of blend it in a little bit, I'm going to use the colour lifter, and I'm going to use that brush end and just add a little bit of light in there. That'll take away the colour, and it'll sort of bleed those in, or blend those in together, and it'll develop over time. You'll see the colour fading out. So it's just going to look like there's a bit of light sort of going down onto those. So I'll do that same technique on all the leaves. Just go around the edge. I've used this granny apple green so many times, I think it is starting to run out. Be needing to go on my list. And then do the same again with the edges, just bring that dark in along here. Just curve that around a bit, and bring my colour lifter in and just sweep that in. You can sort of go over it again if you want to take lift a bit more colour out, and do the same on the last two leaves, and I just might add a bit of colour down there. It's always good when something runs, even though it's sad when something runs out, I always think it's good too, because it means you've really used it, which is what we want to be using our products. And then bring that dark in again. Sorry, my voice is a little croaky this morning. Sort of dotting it almost, just not giving it such a straight line, just so it's not so precise. And then bringing in that lifter again. And then I'm going to start colouring the flowers. So I just used the dark daffodil delight for the middle of the flower, so that's easy peasy, that's done. And then for the flowers, I've got Flirty Flamingo. So I've got the light, the dark, and I've got the light Calypso Coral, because I want to add a little bit of that to the colour as well. So what I've done is with the light, totally coloured in this. And then brought the dark in, and because I've sort of imagined the light sort of coming down, I've got it darker at the bottom. Just sort of going up those lines as well. And then I've just added a little bit of the Calypso Coral in as well, just to add a little bit of bright to it. Doesn't do too much, but just a little bit. And then also with the colour lifter, can bring that in using the brush end, just sort of flick that over it. Just adds a little bit of light to it. So I'm just going to do exactly the same on all of these. I think it does help to work one flower at a time, because then while the Stampin' Blend is sort of still fresh and not totally dry, it blends a little bit better. And that little bit of Calypso Coral. And the lifter. It's easier if I have them in order, then makes it quicker. So I'll come back and do that, because that's just a little one. It won't be too bad. So I'll do that. Just go around the edge here. And a dark one. And Calypso Coral. So you probably can't see too much of the difference on the camera, but in person you can just adds a little hint or something. And then lastly, this big flower in the middle. Go right around the edge. Just find that it gives you a bit of a buffer when you're colouring in, so you won't go over the edge, hopefully. Round, and then you can fill it in with the brush end. Just like that. And then I'll bring in the darker one and just go along those edges, just part way up. And then I'm just going to sort of fill that in just a little bit. Make it uneven a little bit too, so that it looks like it would in nature. Perfect. And then add a little bit of the Calypso Coral again. And then bring my lifter and just add a bit of a smudge over. And you can go in with your lighter colour again if you want to blend it a little bit more again. And that's it coloured in. So doesn't take too long. You can certainly take longer if you like, if you'd like to be a bit more particular. And then I'm going to fussy cut it because unfortunately there aren't any dies with this. But it is going on the white, so you don't have to be too particular. Or alternatively, you could stamp it onto an oval shape. You know, if you had a die, an oval or rectangular, something, or even just cut it into trim it into a rectangle. I don't know that's if you don't like fussy cutting. If you don't mind fussy cutting, yeah. It is quite tricky. There are quite a few little pieces to go around. See, sometimes it's easier to cut pieces away too, if you can. I did on my original one, got a little bit fussy and got a craft knife out and did in the insert, in the inner pieces, but it's not really necessary. Unless, of course, you want to. So as I said, this is one of the Sale-A-Bration stamp sets. It's free starting next month, so that's always good to get some free sets. Here in New Zealand you just need to spend $110, or there are some products, Sale-A-Bration products, that you can get if you spend $220, they're free. And of course there's a joining offer, great joining offer, and there's a beautiful, you can get a blue mini cut and emboss machine in boho blue. It's super cute. I'll have to stick with my white one. I haven't got an excuse to get that, but it does look super cute in the blue. Right, so it's not too tricky, this. Be good if it had dies, so I can't see that, but anyway. And as I said, because it's on the white, it doesn't matter too much. Nearly there. And done. So it is really pretty, isn't it? It's a lovely little image. So then I'm going to bring this back in, and I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back of that. So I'll just use my mini ones. I don't have to worry too much unless it give those a good spread around. Okay, it's all done, and I want it to pop it about here, I think. And then I've gone ahead and die cut these. These are from the Framed Florets dies. So I've got those two leaves and this bigger leaf here. and I'm just going to pop, just got a bit of scrap paper, I'll just pop a bit of glue onto that, and then I'm going to tuck these in. So what I might do, so I don't have to worry about them bumping up against the dimensionals, I've just pulled that bit off there, just dip that into the glue there. I'm just going to tuck that in, and I'll do the same on this one here. In there, and this, oh, I don't need the whole lot, so I'll just nip that bit off the bottom and tuck that in. So I'll just lift those dimensionals up, so I haven't pressed them down totally, so that works. And then I want to tie the bow, so I've got some of the white baker's twine. See, they always want to twist their own way, I find. Give it a nice, good tug. And then I won't adhere it yet, I'll just wait until I've got my sentiment ready. So I've got just a piece of black cardstock. I've got the sentiment I'm using, which is for a feeling better kind of day, which is Super Cute sentiment. And I've got my embossing buddy, I'll just give that a good embossing. That stops it sticking, the powder, and then I'm just going to Versamark up. Just have to stand up, I think it always, just in the middle there. And then pop the powder over. Rid of any little flecks that are sticking to it, and then I'm just going to heat set that, so I won't be a moment. I just want to trim that down just slightly. Just pop that in this little trimmer. You could go closer to the edge if you wanted by cutting right around it, or find a die or a punch to go around it. This is just easy to do too. Right, and now I'm just going to see how that sits over there. So I think that, just make that slightly smaller. I think that works. So what I want to do, I'm just going to put a blob of glue on there. Sit that straight on top of it. Just arrange, oopsie. Tuck that underneath that, hopefully. Hopefully it will stick how I'd like it. So I want that to go about there. So I'll bring in my mini dimensionals again. I'm just going to tuck one right up there against that bow, the knot of the bow, and then pop a couple of these here, so one on top of the other, because it's two. It's going to be, there's one under here and this one here. So then take that straight up to there. I want to get that centre in. That looks okay. And then that one could do with a slight trim. So it's the same length as the other one. And then I've popped on just some rhinestones. You could use anything. I think anything would work with these because it's quite neutral. So I just got a medium-sized one here. I'm just going to tuck that in under the sentiment, and one up here. I always like to go for uneven numbers, do it in a bit of a triangle, and that is my card. So apart from the fussy cutting, not too difficult. So thanks for watching, and please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here on my channel. Thanks again for watching. Bye.